Well, I've been working with Dick and Alan on several things, but one of the things that I've been working separately is a sale of a restaurant. I'm actually helping my designated broker, so because I refer that to him until I get my IBBA designation, and currently dealing with a landlord that doesn't want to talk to the new buyer. It's just unbelievable, putting all kinds of obstacles to approve the buyer and approve the new lease.
Did the landlord give you a reason why he's not willing to speak with the buyer?
No, there's no reason. I actually set up a meeting on Friday, this coming Friday.
Is the lease assignable?
No, the lease is not assignable, and it's the lease is about a couple of months from ending, so we need a new lease. And the landlord is saying, well, I'm gonna put a for rent sign outside, and which is kind of interfering with the purchase and sale. And
is the business dependent on the location?
Yes, it's a very good location in downtown Seattle.
But if they moved a mile away or 2 miles away, would it drastically affect their business?
Yes.
If it's okay, wait. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would definitely, I would try and have a conversation with the landlord to see where he's at, because yeah, that's an issue right there.
I mean, the question is, what do you have to lose to go to the restaurant, meet the buyer, get the financials, look at what the buyer is doing? The buyer is an experienced restaurateur, so she has 2 restaurants and a massage place. So she's very well qualified in my opinion. I mean, the 2 restaurants are well-known restaurants here. So, and the guy just doesn't want to talk.
Well, I can tell you that what I've done with buyers before, and typically what I recommend to buyers, is that they put together a package that has a cover letter on it, talks about their idea, their business plan for the business that they're buying, and what their thoughts are for growing it or whatever. That includes, their resume or their background, their experience, in this case, her other restaurants, and she could print out reviews and things of her restaurants and include that in the package. Then have them go to annualcreditreports.com and print out their own credit report and attach that. And then, generally, if, we're looking for a lease assignment, then we'd have a lease assignment form. But if we're not, then she's requesting a new lease. You want to include in there the price and terms, or the lease terms that she's requesting. And so then when you send that complete package to the landlord, now they have the person's credit, they know who the person is, they can look up more information on them if they choose to, but they have something to evaluate. And it's all in one package, and it's just a more I don't know what's been sent to the landlord, if anything. So when you have, the other thing is, if the landlord is saying, well, I'm going to put a for rent sign up, to say, okay, well, what do you want? What are the price? What are the terms, the rent terms that you're looking for at this point? Because if I have somebody who's willing to do that already, then, you can save yourself the time and trouble. Yeah. So
the credit report is a good idea. I did a package. I prepared a letter with the buyer describing what the experience of the buyer was and the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that didn't move the landlord. The landlord seems to be an inexperienced landlord, and the lease application that he provided was just full of confidential questions. I mean, what's your account number? What's your credit card numbers? What the heck? I mean, that doesn't matter. Yeah, ask for a credit report, and that's fine. And so your idea of the credit report is fantastic. I'll try to get that. So,
Yeah, hopefully that'll help.
yep.
But you do want to, again, kind of put together a checklist for yourself so that when you're working with buyers, you can just hand the checklist to the buyer and say, hey, you need to put together a package. I'm happy to help you, but this is what your lease application package should look like. And you want to include these documents in it and so forth. And then that way you don't have to constantly try and reinvent the wheel every time. Now every landlord may have their own lease application form. So sometimes you do have to, a lot of times we'll have the buyer submit, if we're looking for a lease assignment, we'll just have the buyer submit the package without ever downloading or obtaining the lease application form itself from the landlord. Because if we've provided enough information for them, then they're already making a decision, and they'll send us the lease application and say, okay, well, we're good with this, but we want them to fill this out. It's like, okay, not a problem.
Yeah, I did provide a list of documents, and the buyer didn't provide the financials as I requested initially. And so the landlord came back and asked for financials, and now she's okay. So it's,
Yeah.
You got to battle on both sides to get the deal done.
Right, exactly. Well, the landlord wants to know that the buyer is going to be A, credit worthy, and B, have enough capital or working capital, or, it's like, what's the value of the lease? And if the value of the lease is $300,000, and then the landlord wants to see that, this is somebody who's got a decent net worth that would be worth, giving them a lease worth $300,000.
Yeah.
Over the course of time.
We invited the landlord to meet with the buyer and ourselves at the one of the restaurants that she owns, maybe half a mile from this one,
Mm-hmm.
for him to see how she operates the business.
Nice.
My golly, and he's turning that down. That's a tremendous opportunity. Go there and take a look at it. Don't rely on a piece of paper.
Well, he may show up, but he may just show up on his own terms.
Yeah.
So that he can see. That's what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily meet with somebody. I probably would too, just out of good manners, but that's me. But I'd also probably try and stop in unannounced so I could see how things actually operate versus how things operate when somebody's prepared and knows I'm going to be there.